So today is June 17th, 2024. This is episode 33 of the Spot Network. Yeah, so Manifest Mondays. We're talking about Juneteenth, all things Juneteenth. What is Juneteenth? The history of it. What does it mean to you? It's going to be an all-encompassing episode. And so, with that being said, yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the history of Juneteenth, what that looks like.
So
That's
for
a
for
fact.
uh for an immigrant over here, you guys want to like educate me on the history of Juneteenth, fellas?
You got it pulled up, Z? No, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's get the specifics. I don't want to get no
So
dates wrong. You know what I'm saying? I know the
right,
concept, but I don't want to get no dates wrong. You feel me?
So the history of Juneteenth, it started, I guess, specifically June 19th, 1865. This is the day that commemorates the ending of slavery, specifically in Galveston, Texas. I know a lot of people associate the Emancipation Proclamation with the ending of slavery, but obviously back then they didn't have social media and a lot of these resources that we have nowadays to be able to be in the know, right? And so a lot of the people in the South, specifically in Texas, still weren't aware that they were free. And so that was the final slaves being freed, June 19th, 1865. That's when we truly became free as people, and removed ourselves away from slavery, in the way that we best could. So
That's a fact, man. We talk. That's and that it's a date. That's what we wanted to talk about this for real, is because what Juneteenth means to us is different over time. But
right.
what did y'all used to think when growing up? You know what I'm saying? What when y'all heard the word Juneteenth? What did y'all think of it? Especially you, Diamond. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, coming
Bruh.
from Africa, coming from Philly. I don't know what the energy was. What was like Juneteenth like? You know what I mean? Like just that
Bruh.
word when y'all heard it. What was that? What does that mean to y'all?
To be honest, bro, I thought it was like a festival, right? You know how you have like, different festivals? I thought Juneteenth was just like a festival to like parties where you have like artists coming by. Like it was like summer jam kind of thing. That's how I thought about it.
Yeah.
It was like summer jam, I never knew it was something more symbolic and historical associated with that. It was not until recent, bro. I feel so dumb until Z. You like I'm gonna be performing at Juneteenth because I've been there before, right? Like I never really understood what that actually meant. I asked Zenas and Max lately, and they were like, "Yeah, bro, that's when the last slave got free." I was like, "For real?" I always just thought that was just for parties and like festival and just turning up. I never knew like actually something more symbolic than just like going out and turning out with your friends. And also growing up in Philly, bro, I never really, I think Denver Juneteenth is a lot bigger than other states, to be honest. Because
Yeah.
growing up in Philly, I never really heard about Juneteenth that much compared to like Denver. So it's just something I think Denver just takes it to a whole new level, if I'm being honest. Because it's really fun, man. I remember last time when we were there, bro. Yeah, you guys were performing. It was fun. A lot of like black businesses, just a lot of beautiful black people just all congregate together, man. I love it. I ain't gonna lie. I'm kind of upset I couldn't go this year because I couldn't walk around. But the last time I was there, it was late. It was fun. Yeah, it was fun.
And
Yeah.
literally, that's all I mean, it is only walking around, so there ain't really wasn't no option for you
mhm.
this time. It's
Right.
pretty
So I was
much
like,
you
damn.
gonna be on your feet if you out there, man.
I was like, yeah, I can't. I don't know. I'm not built for that right now. So I didn't go this year, but yeah, I saw stories on IG and people looked like they were having a great time, bro. Like having celebrating together and just happy. So yeah, it was a good vibe from what I've seen.
What about for you, Z? Coming up, growing up in Denver, what was Juneteenth to you?
That's a good question. Juneteenth was always a thing, as DG mentioned. Juneteenth, specifically in Denver, I think is always something to celebrate and to just look forward to, I guess. Like it was always an opportunity to just go out and just pop out with friends and culture and whatnot. But when you're younger, I didn't like understand the significance of what Juneteenth was. I was just like, oh, okay, everybody's talking about Juneteenth, and obviously whatever was associated with Juneteenth was 5 points. So I was like, oh, bet
Right.
we're going to 5 points. We're gonna go eat some good food. Of course, we're gonna eat some good food. You gonna hear some good music. You gonna see some good dance moves. Like everybody gonna be out
Yeah.
there getting it, and that's really what the vibe was. I think just growing up, I never knew the significance of Juneteenth either. Just as far as what it stood for and whatnot. I just thought it was just an opportunity to just get together, celebrate and stuff. And you know, when you're younger, you don't really care either. When you're younger, it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, I just
That's
like
to be honest, to
where the
be
food at? Like that's all. Like where the oh, okay, so there's gonna be food there. Is there gonna be rides? Is if there ain't gonna be rides, like what else? Like what am I doing here? Like oh, they gonna have
Right.
funnel cake? Bet they
yeah,
got funnel cake. I'm there. I'm there for the funnel cake. The turkey legs and the funnel cake, baby. I'm out there.
Take a look at the front of
I'm out
cake.
there. So that's what I thought Juneteenth was. Just you know, just an opportunity to celebrate and stuff. I didn't know the significance of it, but I don't
yeah,
think a lot of people do. Like I said, when you're younger, you don't really care.
yeah,
I mean, now that you know the significance, has your mindset changed about it? Now, when you approach it going there, is it a little more different for you than just compared to like when you was a kid?
Yeah, I think so.
Uh,
I definitely think so.
yeah. Yeah, so for me, even coming into it, I was kind of similar to y'all. Like, right, I just wanted it was just like almost like a festival even for me as a kid, right? My
yeah,
pops used to take me and my brother as a kid, you know what I'm saying? He used to live right outside Five Points. So, it was, right down the street, you know what I'm saying? He used to park on the side. We just walk over there and it was a big festival, rides, a bunch of people. But even back then, what I could remember is it was a lot of black people. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Yep.
That's what I could even remember. I didn't know that was what it was about or none
right.
of that. You know what I'm saying? I just like that it was like you said, a holiday out in June, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Black people
But it was a
holiday.
lot of black people. I like unusually amount of black people, especially for Denver. You know what I'm
Especially
saying?
in
Great
Like
Denver.
it
amount.
was like, so it kind of even thinking back, it almost always felt like a big ass family reunion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like bunch of cousins from other states that you don't know and stuff. Like that's kind of what you know what I mean. Food out there, turkey legs, and you know what I mean, all kind of stuff like that. You know what I mean? Even to when I got a little bit older, I still kind of didn't know. Like probably high school, I probably still didn't really know. But I was out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I probably still didn't know exactly what it was, but I knew it had something to do at that point with, like this is it's black people for sure. It's a lot of us out here. You know what I'm saying? So, I knew at that point, but it definitely changed my mindset when I actually figured out what it stood for. And it
Right,
made all that stuff actually make more sense because to be honest, sometimes when you want to get a big group like that, you might not want to make something seem so serious.
right,
You know what I mean? You wanted to make it like a fun energy where people could
right,
come out and a lot of those businesses out there are black owned
Yep.
businesses, man. Um so, like it just made me proud. Like, like I really started diving in the history of it when we was like volunteering a couple years and then we, ended up performing some of the years too. That's when I started kind of getting into the history. But, being on like sitting down with like the team Juneteenth, seeing them put it together, seeing like their concepts behind things and how they really wanted to bring the black culture together in, on Welton Street, which
right.
was a predominantly black area even back in the day. um, yeah, bro, it made me proud to be a part of it.
Right.
You feel me?
No,
That's kind of how
absolutely.
it started to feel like that. You know what I mean? So and it was dope that I could have performed. Maybe I could have performed when I was younger, and it would have just been like this is a cool crowd of people. But when I
Right.
did perform, I understood the significance of it while I was performing. So it almost connected even better for me. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
Right.
yeah,
So,
man. Yeah.
quick question for you guys. So, let's say if you're decide to like change or enhance anything about Juneteenth, right? What was something that you might want to see different if you have to like change something? Let's say if you're on the board and I ask you for next year, right? We're trying to like Juneteenth. What would you enhance or change or make different? Just thinking about it.
It's a good question.
Let you kick it off, Z, because you was there this year.
Hmm.
I'll let you kick it off.
I honestly think there should be more opportunity to educate people on what Juneteenth is, because I still
Right.
think, even to this day, I still don't think people are aware
Right.
of it. So I think if
Right.
there was like maybe an exhibit or something like that to like where people like, because people are still going to be walking, right? But
Right.
maybe like an exhibit that's close to the main stage that just like kind of like explains the history and significance of what Juneteenth is and why it's
Right.
such a big thing specifically in Denver too. I think
Hmm.
it would be something
Yeah.
that would be cool to incorporate because it's cool to like to your point, P, it's cool to go out there and celebrate and enjoy life, right?
Right.
Celebrate life, celebrate
Right.
freedom,
Right.
all the things that our ancestors worked to attain, like and whatnot. But I think it's also important to just like highlight
Right.
why all this is even a thing in the first place.
Right.
So I think if there was an opportunity to educate people more on what it is and the significance of it, I think that would be really cool to incorporate. Like I said, it doesn't have to be anything massive. It could be an exhibit. It could be something where people could kind of just like walk by and chime in on their own time.
Right.
Like
Right.
and it could be maybe one of those exhibits, where they have you can connect your phone to it, or maybe they have like headphones and like you can just like do like a little like walkthrough, quick tour of like the history of the significance of Juneteenth and stuff like that. I think something like that would be cool,
Right.
just so that people are aware, because to your point, I still think to this day people don't know. They're like, just
Yeah.
I'm
Juneteenth.
people.
Man, and that's a really good point, Z, because like really with anything with a message behind it, you might want to use entertainment to draw them in, but to
Right.
make the message stick is like the
Hmm.
goal
Right.
usually,
Yeah.
right? So I do
Right.
that's heavy, man. And I kind of wanted to just connect on something while we're on this point, man, about we found this out today, right? Like the history of Juneteenth in Denver, right? So we found out there was a dude named Otha Rice. And I guess he moved from Texas to Denver in like the 1950s, right? So, Juneteenth started in Texas, but he moved from Texas and he had a business, a brewery on Welton Street. You
Right.
know what I mean? So he kind of brought the concept over to start celebrating on Welton Street, where there was a lot of other black owners, to start celebrating Juneteenth and bringing those businesses together and having people out there and and shopping with each other. So kind of like starting that idea.
Right.
The coolest thing that we figured out while we was going through that is that we know the president of Juneteenth now,
Right.
Norman Harris. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Hmm.
And Norman Harris is Norman Harris the third. His grandfather even had businesses on Welton Street too back
Right.
in the
Hmm.
day,
Right.
right? But now Norman Harris the third, you know what I mean? Shout out to Norm.
Shout out to Norm.
He owns a brewery back on Welton Street. You know what I mean? So
Dope.
it was just dope to me to see like the full parallel of like the person who started Juneteenth in Denver owned a brewery on Welton Street, and now the president of Juneteenth in Denver owns a brewery, Spangalang,
Unfortunately.
Spangler
on
Lanes.
Welton Street, bro. That I like that's crazy, and he probably connected this already, but I
Right.
don't know if I've ever heard that story. We just kind of was doing the digging and found out
Right.
that like the parallels, and I was just like, man, that's heavy. That's heavy, man. So like really continuing that legacy to have black businesses in that area that that that's been like a staple for black people for a long time. Welton Street Cafe
Facts.
and a lot of the places down there is like staples for the black community down there, man. So
Hmm.
I just thought that was super dope when we found that out, bro. I was like,
Hmm.
that's crazy. It's crazy how the world works out
Yeah.
like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to that point, I think if more people knew stories like that and the
Hmm.
significance of just what Juneteenth
Right.
is, especially being
Right.
that the black population in Denver isn't big,
It's not.
like what
It's not.
I think black people make up 2% of Colorado,
Damn.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's just I think being aware of things like that and just understanding why all of this is even a thing it would compel people more to like come out and want to
Right.
support, like kind
Right.
of thing. I think,
Right.
it gives people the opportunity to show up for the culture, for the people and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I think that's definitely something that Juneteenth I think should just incorporate moving forward. Just like I said, it doesn't have to be anything massive or whatnot, but I think it would just be really cool to incorporate some kind of historical lesson on
Right.
Juneteenth and the significance of
Right.
it, and specifically stories like Otha Rice
Right.
and how all of these ties, how all of these things are intertwined, right? Like I think
Facts.
that's important to know because I think if that was something that I knew, like maybe in college or something like that, in high school, you to be young and dumb, like you don't be caring, but I think as you get older and you just become wiser, right, and you just understand our significance in the world and like how your heritage is a big piece of that and whatnot. I think that's just like I said, an opportunity to go out and support for the culture.
Right. No, I agree, man. That's the reason why I brought up that question, right? Because like I said, I was there at the festival, and I had no idea. I was like, this is summer jam, just for black people, kind of, right? So I think just like having like a speaker, just like 5 minute speech on the main stage, just to like talk about overall like the historical meaning of Juneteenth, something symbolic. I think it'll be a good
Hmm.
educational piece. And after that, and then we turn up. Now I know it's like I'll learn about Juneteenth. Now I'm turning up. So that's something definitely I would love to add, right? Or if I was
Yeah.
on the board to change for sure.
Yeah. Interactive.
Yeah,
Something
absolutely.
interactive where people can like be engaged and whatnot. I think is also the key piece too. Because like you said, Pete, entertainment is a good thing to reel people
Right.
in. So like whether it be like through a game or something like that, or like some kind of trivia or something like that, something to like engage the people to just make them feel a part of it. I think would be cool too. Because I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't want to hear somebody just sit there and speak about like you
Right.
know how those they be reading and
Right.
they sound so monotone. I'm like, bro, I don't want to listen to this speech for like the next 10 to 15 minutes, bro. Like, nah, I'm good. Like
Right.
something
Yeah,
interactive for sure.
Right. No, I agree.
that's a good point. That's a good point.
I don't want to sit there and watch you read from the prompt, but not prompted. Nah, bro, we're not
I
doing
mean, that's why you need a good speaker, right? Just a good speaker, just 5 minutes, just like have charisma and passion, and just like it's just 5 minutes. Well,
Maybe
we're gonna be faded
that's a
anyway.
cool. Maybe that would be a really cool addition. What you're talking about, if like somebody like Eric Thomas came
Right,
out,
that.
you know
right,
Yeah,
right. So
what I
facts,
mean? That like was a
facts.
speaker, but
right,
like had the energy of
right,
like, you know what I'm saying?
like 5 minutes.
So
Yeah,
maybe
I'll
that would
be
be a cool addition is to like bring out a powerful speaker
right.
that could really speak on it
Yeah,
in a way though that we
right.
really could
Yeah,
understand. You know
And then
what
yeah.
and then after that, we take a shot and celebrate
That's
Juneteenth.
it.
maybe before and after. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, and
Yeah,
shout
but
out too. I don't know if anybody knew this too. When we were doing the history and the digging as well on our end, we found out that Juneteenth became a federal holiday on June 17th, 2021. So just 3 years ago, it became a federal holiday. So I also think that's something to just acknowledge too. You know, now that it is a federal holiday and recognized on a national scale, right? You know, I think that's also something to dig into a little bit more.
Right.
And that's also why you may have the day off tomorrow. You may not.
You mean
But
you mean on Wednesday or tomorrow? Is it tomorrow?
oh no,
Wednesday.
no, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Right.
I forgot today's the 17th. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wednesday.
So if you have the day off on Wednesday, it's because of Juneteenth.
It's because
So
of Juneteenth. It's because of Juneteenth. And now you know
Yeah,
why.
yeah.
that's
Do
crazy
your
though.
research, man.
It
Tap
only
back in.
become like it only became a federal holiday like 3 years ago. The
Hmm.
whole time. Wow.
Yep.
Think about that.
That's dope.
That like we would say like it. It was officially in what was it 1860? What was it
1865.
1865. Yeah, yeah.
1865? It started as a festival in Denver in the 1950s, bro. It's
Yeah,
2024. That's 74 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
it took almost, it took 70 years to become a federal holiday, man. But it's dope to see now because I feel like that'll naturally teach people a little bit of the
I
significance
agree.
of it just being a holiday, right? Like just because something is a holiday, you like,
Yeah.
oh, we're off on Wednesday. Why are we
Right.
off?
Why?
You know what I'm
Right. I
saying?
agree.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
why am I off? Oh, it's Juneteenth. Well, what is that? You know what I mean? So, I think that's naturally going to teach a lot of people about it. You feel me?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And
Pat,
also
Pat,
like
Yeah.
black people, man, we don't have a lot to celebrate, man. We don't have a lot of holidays. Like we got the MLK Day and shit like that, but we don't have a lot to
damn.
celebrate, man. So I think it's important. I think it's important to recognize that Juneteenth is really something that I think we need to lean into a little bit more and just understand that like this is important for the culture because we don't have a lot, man.
Right.
We ain't got a
Right.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's Pappy Shampoo said? Low key today hits different. Mark said, "Oh, you don't
The
have
house
damn.
is different.
You don't. We want it all, but we don't even have MLK Day off yet. Damn. Really? I don't have MLK Day off
I
yet.
don't think
That's kind of crazy.
I do either, man.
Wow.
Mhm.
They got to get it
I
together.
don't even know if it's, yeah, I don't know if MLK Day is a holiday in Arizona, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, here
Well, that's
it's a
because
holiday here
it's
in Denver.
Arizona.
It's
They do a little.
Arizona, right?
Yeah.
They do everything a little bit different in
For sure.
Arizona.
For sure.
Yeah, I want my holiday, man. Jeez, give me extra day. I need more holidays for real.
That's a fact, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
Wednesday.
it is a federal holiday. MLK Day is a federal holiday too.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just not recognized like by like a lot of companies and whatnot. So to that point, I think it's even more important for us to create our own.
Yeah.
That's a
Also, shout out to all the
fact.
people who've been putting in the work, working so hard to make Juneteenth a
Yeah,
federal holiday. I appreciate you
That's a
all.
fact.
That's dope.
That's a fact.
yeah,
Because usually during the summer, like we only have 4th of July. I mean, that's kind of like the holiday we look forward to. But having
Yeah.
Juneteenth up and then having 4th of July, it's kind of like it's cool. Just have those little breaks in between the summer. That's a
And
vibe for sure.
we for sure need that day, man. You know what I'm saying? We be needing breaks, man. That's the type we need that. You know what I mean? We need to, a day to be celebrated and you know what I'm saying? But
Back
we say back ass
ass
whoops
ass
like
backwards.
TX. He back
Texas.
ass whoops. I see him though. Maybe I see the flip,
Yeah,
like TX, sorry, nothing personal. I feel it.
You
Which
make
is
it
sad
sad.
because we have President's Day off. I know, right? So yeah, man, it is dope just to see those small little things, man, just to get, a little bit of just recognition and like I said, like people's gonna find out on it on accident now that they got a day off, man. The stock market closed. People gonna wake up on Wednesday like, hold up, what? Why is it
Right.
closed? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So little stuff like that is gonna make you really like, look into it a little bit
I
further,
mean,
man. So
that's the
yeah,
only
shout out
thing
to everybody that. I'll go ahead,
go ahead, Ramon.
DJ.
No, so that's the only thing that made me feel a little bit some type of way because the stock market is gonna be closed on Wednesday. I'm like, damn.
Maybe they should let black people only trade then and give us like
Right.
a little stipend, give us a little, give us a little stipend every Juneteenth, man. Only we get to trade and we get $250 to
Yeah.
trade.
That's it.
I,
That's
I,
it.
I agree from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. It doesn't have to be a full day. It could just be a half day. Just give me 4 hours.
Hmm.
No, that's
Yeah,
the only
let's get.
thing that reparation. Yeah, Mark, you support reparations,
That's
man.
it,
We need
man.
that.
We
That's
need
a
it. We
fact.
need it. We need it.
That's a fact. That would be crazy, man. That would be fine. We be having
Hit us.
Juneteenth stock parties and
You
shit, like you know what I'm saying,
see what I'm
early, like
saying?
you know what I'm
They
saying?
they
You
hit us
feel
with the
me?
little stimmy, man.
Yeah,
He said, just verify your black card.
that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, man.
How do you do that? Just verify. Yeah.
It be the
But
people
that's
that never tried to claim black, but on that day they be trying to hold up, man. I ain't get my stipend. Like you know what I'm saying? I'm 112. You feel
right,
me?
right.
I'm
But
112. You feel me?
please,
Oh man, that's
please.
funny.
Hey, I got you, Mark. I will do your trade, man. I will do your trade on on that day.
Yeah, that's
But
hilarious.
one thing I want to talk about Juneteenth, that I feel like other culture doesn't really celebrate Juneteenth, right? Just something more is like that only black people like celebrate. Because I feel like one of the main reasons because I think the educational part of it, right? Because it's not like I say, most people don't really understand and know what's really going on.
Hmm.
And I think now just making it like a federal holiday going forward, I think now more culture actually like understands the symbolic meaning of Juneteenth, and then they can come on board. Because most of the time, like I never heard any of my friends from like any other racial groups talks about Juneteenth. Oh, they're my black friends, right?
Yeah.
But when you
Yeah.
talk about 4th of July, any other holiday, everyone's like talked about it. Like a lot of people don't know about Juneteenth, to be honest.
Hmm.
Even like some of my African friends, they don't even know about Juneteenth. I told people
Yeah.
yesterday, I was like, what is that? I was like, I don't even know yet. I just learned like 2 weeks ago.
It's not even just Africans. There's a lot of Americans that don't know what
Right. That's
Juneteenth
right.
is either.
Exactly.
So
That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying. Right. So now that is federal, and I think having the day of, I think that's gonna like create more awareness and make more people get the educational part of it and learn more about it, which is kind of dope.
that's a fact. You was cutting out a little bit, DG.
yeah,
Can you
you
guys hear me
freezing up
now?
a little bit.
Am I good now?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can hear you now though.
No, I said just
Yeah, yeah,
by it being federal holiday, I think that's gonna be going forward is gonna be good because I think a lot of people now are gonna like learn more about it, right? And then maybe
hmm
Hmm.
that's gonna be more awareness of it.
Yeah. Because
yeah,
I mean, think about it. Everybody knows what Cinco de Mayo is. Everybody
Right.
know.
Right.
yeah,
Even if they don't know the significance of it, they know they drink it on that day.
yeah,
So I think it's important now that it is recognized as a federal holiday, and like we said, the knowledge is there. It's just I think it just leaning more into the opportunity of just putting it in front of people's faces. Like this is
yeah.
what Juneteenth is and why it's significant. I think
Yeah.
will just and word of mouth, right? I think it's just important to continue to like tell people, hey, pull up, man.
Right.
Like, make sure you show up for
Right.
Juneteenth.
Yeah.
Make sure, like at the end of the day, we always talk about supporting black owned businesses and black owned anything, black anything. Support black,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know. So why not support Juneteenth, man?
Right.
Everybody should be out there pulling up.
And I want to just add a point to what you said too, because like there's like a wave over. I feel like the last few years, or where people look at other holidays and they're like, why are we even celebrating this? So um, almost like in silently boycotting certain holidays, right?
Hmm.
I feel like when in anything, that's only half the battle. To do that, you got to support the other, like the good shit too. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you can't just, boycott the shit that you don't like, but then don't support the. I think that's kind of like the problem with a lot of shit is even,
Hmm.
from music to anything, like just concepts. It's just like people are loud about the things that they don't like and then
Right.
don't support the things that's actually for that community. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
um, yeah, like just to echo what you said, Z, is like we got to support shit like that, and on that day, what I mean, just it could be something small, but just go out of your way to support a black business
Right.
maybe that day. It could be something super small, but just like what I'm saying, if you usually get Starbucks, if there's a black owned coffee shop,
Right.
go there that day. You know what I mean? It that small, but if like if we all did, what I'm saying, if we all did that, it wouldn't be small. You know what I mean? So.
Hmm.
I think it's really dope for like the Juneteenth festival to bring that many black businesses all in the same place where you can just go
Right.
out there and I push people when you go out there too, bring some cash, man, support one of them businesses out there. You know what I
Right.
mean? I wish I was out there, man, but even if you couldn't on Wednesday, it's the actual day.
Right.
Go out of your way, man. Find a little black business, man, and just what I mean, and just support that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or just send me Cash App. I would represent a black
Hey, I'm
business
black.
over here.
I'm black and I'm a business. So what's up?
I'll take
You know?
donation, man. Like send it my way. But quick question for you guys, they're like, also, like how, growing up, I mean not growing up in school, right? Like during Black History Month, most of the time they would talk about MLK Day and other holiday. I never really heard Juneteenth being
Never
mentioned a lot, bro.
have.
Like why is that? If it's something that's symbolic, we all know the history of it. Why is not even like taught in schools? I think by being taught in schools or right growing up, then people will know the history of it, right? There's
Hmm.
gonna be a lot more. I think that would be a educational component having that in school. Why is
Hmm.
it not really
Well, you
talked
you
about
know
in school?
why.
You know the
You
answer
know
to that
exactly
question.
why. Like,
You know the answer
Because
to that question.
no, no. I mean,
but
not
let's talk about it though.
right, but
Let's
like
talk about it. Like, you know what I
MLK
mean?
Day is talked about, right? Slavery is talked about too. I mean, to a certain extent, right? But I'm saying if you're talking about slavery, then why are you just like not talking about that other piece of it? That's all comes together. So
Hmm.
why are you like
Yeah.
omitting certain parts of that, right? And not talking about like the whole thing,
When I think about it in my mind, I would probably answer that with like where Juneteenth was created from, right?
right?
Like it's I don't know the specifics of it, but it feels like Juneteenth was something that was created by us for us,
Right,
Hmm.
right? And a lot of times when we in the school systems, it's not that curriculum's not created by us.
fact.
You
Yep.
know what
That's
I mean?
true.
So it's naturally I feel like it would be easy to lead that type of information out because it's kind of like I mean, you know what I mean? It just wasn't built into the system that that we all kind of just have to go
Right,
through,
Hmm.
right,
So I feel like that would it's one of those things, man. Unless like you have like a super pro black teacher, you probably just not gonna get that.
right,
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's hard to have a super well, I mean, you might get a pro black, but a super like black teacher in Denver is if we're 2%,
right,
I can only imagine we're probably 2% teachers too, right? Like
right, right.
so yeah, man, it's interesting.
Let's see. Probably shampoo want to come on. Yeah, because I was like,
Yeah.
it's never talked about in schools and none of that. Like,
Yeah.
why is
I, I I truly think just piggybacking off of what P was saying is curriculum is established by people who don't look like us. And so I think that's just going to be a big piece of why a lot of that is left out of the history books. History is always told by the victors, right? Like we've always known that for generations, for decades, for eons, right? That history is always told by the victors, and they're going to tell it in their favor.
Right.
So the thing is, they're even trying to, like, Florida's passing laws to, like, remove, that stuff from, like, history books, or like not teaching that in the schools, which is just like, what, like I think it was Mark who said it, back asswards, like, they got that back asswards mindset.
That's back asswards, man.
That back asswards mindset. that's that's
Back
that's
that
that's the
ass word. You know?
that's where we at with things.
Right.
So I think that's exactly why we are where we are, man.
Right.
Like, just, and why that those things aren't taught in school, and I don't even know if they will be, at least on like like on a large scale.
Right.
It's got to be very intentional, like P said, about teacher specific, maybe school specific and stuff like that. But when you're talking about, like, from a huge, like, wide scale, I don't know if I necessarily see the history of Juneteenth and all these things being something
Right.
that's incorporated into our textbooks and whatnot.
I
That's a
I
fact.
had to, just put some 2 cents in, and if y'all even want to do like a little bit of research, my aunt, she put me onto this book, and it was a textbook, but it was like a textbook that like schools don't use, which is like completely insane to me because if you know my aunt, like she's pro black, like all black, everything. Like I'm talking like she don't even buy white eggs type black. You know what I mean? Like real, like
Make
all
mine
black.
brown. If they not brown, I'm not down. You know
You
what
know
I'm
what
saying?
I'm saying? Yeah.
That's funny though.
um, but
That's
I just say that
hilarious.
to say is like it's called the real history of America, right? And so it goes into because I feel like me growing up, it was naturally like, oh, we did this for this reason, or we took over this for this reason, but it's like that's still wrong at the end of the day, right? So like, with the whole like Native Americans taking over
Hmm.
and like them already like living here, it was just like that's wrong, right? But we kind of like for one just write off as like, oh, like I'm trying to get a grade in this
Yep.
class or however.
That's a fact.
So you know what I mean? Like this is what happened. But I said that to say is I went to um she was teaching me history, and like my mom, she knew that she was big on history and stuff like that. And that textbook like busted my whole head open because I'm like, bro, like they went into like the vulgar aspect of like America, which I also too don't suggest like any little kid kind of like reading it. But as you get older, like as a black
Right.
American or a minority American, I suggest that you read it when you
Hmm.
get older so that you kind of know just the actual aspect of what happened with America, and
Hmm.
I just say that to say is like with us being black Americans too is like that history of you stripping that history, like we don't know the significance of like what
Yeah.
actually happened. So, and it's crazy though, because my aunt, it a big piece of the book was talking about slavery, and it like hit me, I want to say in like the seventh grade, which is like wild, because like I'm kind of almost about to be like a teenager, this and that. And, when I was little, they would talk about slavery, but they would just say, like, oh, it's like this is what's happened and this and that, and it's bad. But they don't like really tell you, like, yo, nah, like they were out killing like your family, your
Right.
actual family.
Hmm.
You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And so I just said that to say is like, I think that us having that and being able to have that like history, noted, but also too like noting the actual both sides of stuff. Because also too like I have friends where they didn't really need to know that history. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So it just
Right.
didn't really, they didn't really care about it. But going back to the overall topic, I think with Juneteenth, us knowing like why we're celebrating it, I think that that's a big, big, big step because
Right.
not a lot of people know about Juneteenth, and not a lot of
Hmm.
people also know like why are we celebrating this, and that's kind of where
Hmm.
Ramond was kind of saying is like, I think that that's a big step. But then also, I was gonna say to just kind of associate like an action with that, right? So you talk about like Christmas and gifts, and then
Right.
Thanksgiving eating, right? I think that with Juneteenth, not only us knowing the actual holiday, but then associating like these are the things of how you could celebrate. So going,
Mm-hmm.
if you already gonna go out to eat, go out to eat at a black owned
Right.
business or eat
Right.
eat out, you know what I mean? Or order, I mean, I'm a DoorDash type of person. So
Right.
DoorDash,
Yeah.
black owned
Right.
business, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Or
Yeah.
even too, just you taking the time out to seek out black business. I think that that's just a big, big deal. And two, it just will help bring people together, you know what I mean? So um,
Right.
I think those are the two biggest things is just knowing about it. And then also two,
Mm-hmm.
like, how do we celebrate it?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now
You know what I mean?
that's money right there, man.
Right.
Like associating the action with something, and if the action was buy black that day, that would be
Yeah.
a fire action to connect
Right.
with Juneteenth. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it.
Because
Yeah.
a lot of a lot of people don't know the history of a lot of holidays, but there's things that's actually associated to them. Like you said, you hit that. That was tight.
Yeah.
Halloween is, you know what I'm saying, is dressing up, and everything has a association. But
Right.
if Juneteenth was by black, then that would be, I mean, even if you didn't know the holiday, as long as you did that, you'd
Right.
be helping the cause. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So that's fire.
And
Exactly.
two, like, and that's the crazy part is like, I think that there's that gives you a huge window because it's not only just okay like going out to eat, right, or like seeking out black clothing or
Mm-hmm.
finding a black therapist or
Right.
because
Mm-hmm.
black is all around, it's not really
Yeah.
just one thing, you know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that that will be like a big turnaround on just like promoting black, and two, that'll like help us bring us together because also too, like, if you're trying to seek it out and trying to like get the knowledge and the know-how of like oh, like this place is right down the street, let me just pop out and just like see this, you know what I mean? You come to find out, oh, like it's super cool people, you meet like the owner or something, and then this and that, and now like you like, oh well, this is a dope spot, so now it's just kind of more so word of mouth, and now
Hmm.
their business is booming. But also on top of that, like you wouldn't have done that if it wasn't that day, or even two, just saying like, oh, I didn't participate, but you at least have that knowledge and like in your back of the head of like,
Right.
okay, well, I didn't do it this day here. Let me just set my time out for this weekend to go out to that spot or
Yeah.
this and that. Just a know-how, kind of like a pinpoint of a staple of how to start this. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah.
But I just had to say my 2 cents. You know what I mean? And plus, I'm about to hop off.
Now
But
you drop some gems before you do, man. What's the name of that book again?
it's called the Real History of America. But it's like
Okay.
Gotcha.
a
Tap in, man.
whole
I ain't read it either.
textbook.
Everybody on here,
Yeah.
tap in, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
The real history of
Appreciate you
America.
sharing, dropping gems,
I
man.
appreciate you
Always.
dropping gems, man.
bro,
Come on, man. That
nah,
boy
but
came with
like,
straight heat. Straight
yeah,
heat.
nah. If you get a chance, but it just kind of basically talks about like, and it's a lot all in one, just because it is a textbook, so it kind of
Right.
but I will say is like if you really want to know just kind of the actual like know-how on like a different perspective
Mm-hmm.
of being like a black person in America in that time and trying to seek out like actual facts of like and there was even like times where I saw chapters and they like found like letters in that time frame,
Oh, wow.
but it's telling the story of like, yo, Thomas Jefferson took, such and such, or however, it was just like a wild thing. And like I said, if you want to seek out that game and just kind of seek out like that history of what happened, it can get vulgar, it can get nasty, but like
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
that's what it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And to Mark's point, Mark actually brought up Thomas Jefferson and slavery as well, just as far as when he went actually and traveled recently. That's the thing is the reason why it isn't in the textbooks is because, like I said, history is always told by the victors, and they always want to be looked at in the best light. They don't want to be looked at, as these evil, just
Right.
intrusive people, But that's exactly what it is. It's funny when white people say go back to where you came from. I'm like, bitch, you aren't even from here. Like, what are you talking about? Why don't you take your ass back to Europe then,
Right.
bro? Like, what are you talking about? Like
Right.
you came here and took the land from the Native Americans, bro. Like, bro, shut your ass up.
No,
Right.
But I think that's just a big piece of why it is. You know, people just with that history and stuff like that, it is very sensitive. You know, I think there's a lot of emotions that come from
Right.
it, but I think those emotions are important to be known and to be felt. You know, I
Right.
think it's important. I'm not going to say that a 7-year-old should be reading this textbook, but at some
Right.
point,
Oh, yeah.
you want your generations and future generations to be aware of how real this society is and
Right.
was, right? So I think that's a huge part of history. And
yeah,
I think making it digestible in a way to where um it can be embraced on a wider scale, but at the same time, it's just like, let's tell it like it really is. Like
Yeah.
this
Right.
this this is exactly what happened, and you should feel these emotions. You should know of these emotions and whatnot. And so it's never a tough, or I mean, it's never an easy conversation to have, right? And so I think you give some high school seniors all that textbook and be like, all right, so like, where do we even start? They're gonna be sitting there like, bro, like, like,
Thanks.
as we would say, my head busted open to the white meat, but also like, I'm pissed off, bro. Like,
Right.
like what's
Yeah.
up?
yeah.
Like,
Right.
like,
Not, and it's funny though too because I like how it all came about, right? I wasn't doing the best in history, so my mom, she was like, you get tutoring lessons with your aunt, this and that. So I was like, all right. So I showed her like the curriculum of what we was like learning, and she was like, hold the fuck up. And she don't really curse or anything,
Right.
but she was like, hold the fuck up. Nah, I need to show you this. And then like
Right.
and what's crazy is like she helped me out, but like, and this is like some real like black knowledge. So how she did it was she helped me out with my like essay, right? So I had to write an essay, this and that. But she also made me write a second essay from like pinpointing, okay, like this is what we're learning in school, but then also too like this is what we're learning like at my aunt's house, right? And that just kind
Mm.
of helped me differentiate like, oh, like you guys are teaching us not really the right curriculum. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, and
Right.
it's insane. But to also too just to decipher it. And I always, wasn't the type of person like, oh no, that we need to be learning this and this and that, blah blah blah. But I think that spreading that knowledge outside of school, I think that's gonna be like a huge game changer. And two, uh, having that knowledge too is like the way that I see it is like, okay, so let's say like you're driving and you're in the passenger seat and someone you see a red light but they're not about to be stopping. If you just say, "Oh, there's a red light," they're gonna be like, "What? Like what'd you
Right.
say?" Right? Or
right,
if you say, "No, there is a red light," like this is a red light.
Right.
And I just think that that's kind of what that book did for me was like, okay, like this is slavery, but this is what happened. They took all the
Right.
African Americans, you know what I mean? This and that. Like, no,
Right.
these African Americans were people's families,
Right.
somebody's great granddad, you know what I mean? And like, just think about your great granddad getting, traded to South Carolina. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Right.
it doesn't hit the same until you actually read it and
Fact.
like this is terrible. This
mm-hmm,
is
yeah,
not okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't want
mm-hmm,
to, change the whole subject to
No,
that,
it's
but
Nah,
I
true.
just
this is the subject, man.
mm-hmm.
And I think when you start learning stuff like that, you might even at a young age treat your elders a little bit differently, man.
yeah,
Just
Right.
knowing
Facts,
where they came from,
mm-hmm.
man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
And everything they've had to overcome.
yeah,
yeah.
stuff we couldn't imagine. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it honestly too, I think it creates a sense of inspiration of not only making it.
I think your sound is a little muffled, bro.
You got your hand on the thing or something?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. Better.
Yeah. So it gives you a little bit of inspiration not only to kind of keep pushing forward but also too like I think that I was talking to my grandpa one time and he was kind of telling me about how like it was down the south and farming and all that other stuff. And for me to hear that, and then like I remember too it just felt differently because it was more of like I was complaining about like going to work or something. Like I was too like younger, but
Right.
just complaining about going to work and going to school, and it's like nah, like it could have been way worse back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So like all this stuff that we're going through now and these changes with,
Oh,
technology and,
yeah.
having to really put in the work in different ways, it's like, yeah, but we weren't like back where, you know what I mean, having to wake up at 5 a.m. to, get all the crops and all this other stuff. And then two, to even go back further, like slavery, it's just a whole nother aspect of it. So that does, to your point, as far as Ramon saying that, like, just what they went through and what they had to go through to get us to here, like that, for one, creates a huge sense of inspiration to kind of push forward and push the line, but also two, to kind of appreciate the now and like where we're at. You know what I mean? Because it is a blessing to
Fact.
have Juneteenth off. Like, me, in the job that I have now, I'm blessed to be able to take that day off, but I know that like just a couple of years ago, that wasn't a thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
So I think that that's dope, but also too, like, we need to keep, what I mean, making it a thing and pushing that line to say, hey, all right, cool, we got this day off, but just support, one black
Right.
business, or promote a black business, or however, even if you don't got money, you
Right.
know what I mean? Just,
Yeah.
hey, like,
Post one. Yeah. Do
I'm
yeah.
Like
saying, like,
Post
volunteer or
your
do something.
post your favorite black business. It could be something simple. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
yeah, so
So,
I just had to say, you know what I mean, my 2 cents. I didn't mean to, steer the conversation, but I'm about to head out.
All right.
I love the work that y'all are doing, man. Y'all doing y'all's thing. The Spot Network. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm all
come on,
for
man.
it. So
Come on,
Yes,
man. You
sir.
Hey,
see the
Appreciate
logo?
you,
You
bro.
see the logo?
You see,
appreciate you coming on. Appreciate it.
yeah, for sure. All right,
appreciate
I'll
you
see
sharing your
y'all.
thoughts.
All right, man.
So yeah, if you're watching, if you want to join the conversation, guys, send me a invite and I'll let you hop on real quick. So
Yeah.
it's free for all. No gatekeeping over here.
Hmm. Nah, we ain't gatekeeping over here, man.
Nah, he dropped some gems.
Yeah.
It's dope, man.
Yeah.
It's true because I
Let's
think.
let's let. Oh, go ahead. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No,
No,
no, no.
I
I was
think
gonna
it's
check. Yeah. Go ahead
because I
first.
feel like sometimes when you learn history, bro, it makes you like have empathy for your elders, right? Like what he was saying,
Yeah.
even like going back to Liberia, right? Because some of the stuff when I sit down when I have the conversation with my parents when they talk about the civil war in Liberia, right? Things they went through, and I'm like, God damn, because I was young, so I didn't really experience some of the traumatic events they experienced. But by them actually telling me the story, like I have to pretty much relive the whole entire thing. I was like, damn, man, y'all went through a lot. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a little nicer, right? I'm not gonna be as harsh like the way I used to be before. So just kind of like learning more about history, man. I think it makes you appreciate other people. And it just makes you grateful, bro, because things could be way worse than what it is right now.
Yeah.
Some of the things that we're complaining about
For
right
damn
now.
sure.
Absolutely.
Imagine back in the day what they had to go through, right? So it's like we have it easy, man. And pretty much what I was trying to say.
Nah,
Yeah. Like,
that's heavy, man.
I don't ever want to invalidate anybody's feelings or emotions because that's not what we're here for. And whatever you feel and whatever you experience is very real. It's very much your reality. But I think that's just also something to reflect on that I at least reflect on often is just granted, there might be times where I'm inconvenienced and there's might be times where I might be disrespected and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I know it could be so much worse. I know there's people out there who are dealing with so much worse right now, like live in this very moment. But also to think of like where our people have come from and all the trauma that they've experienced and endured. And we still have the opportunity to be here. It's just I think that's just something to reflect on and just truly to your point, DG, is just be grateful, because it's just like, bro, like it genuinely could be so much worse.
That's a fact.
Yeah, for some reason I'm not. If you guys kind of froze. All right, there you go. Much better.
Yeah, it was cutting out a little bit, but nah, for sure, man. It could always be worse, man. You know, something I think about often.
What was you gonna say,
Um,
P?
I didn't want to cut in there because I didn't want to have to change the subject, but I was just gonna ask y'all to name some of y'all favorite black businesses, man. What's some of y'all favorite black businesses that you just think just do good business, or you know what I mean, like chains or anything.
In Denver,
Or
then
just shout
have
some
to think.
out.
I mean, like I don't know like names, bro, like per se, but like like some of like friends and stuff that I know who got stuff going
Mhm.
on, and they're like black. I
Let's name
definitely
them.
like
Let's
going.
just go specific real quick.
Like for example, like like Johnny, like my boy, his business.
Hmm.
Like I always like we talked about it. Like most of the time, like things that he needs, we help each other out, and just people that
Yeah.
I know, like my brother Mickey Club
Hmm.
Juku.
Club
Like my
Jupu.
brother Mickey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a
Club
big one,
Juku. So
man.
if you
If y'all
yeah
go,
yeah. So if you're in Denver, man, if you're looking for a dope Afrobeat spot to like turn up, have a good time, cool people, good vibes, definitely check out Club Juku, man, for
Hmm.
sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
All the
that's
vibes,
fine.
man.
I gotta I gotta go Spangalang, man. Spangalang
Spangling.
is dope. Shout out to my man Norm. It's a whole
Yep.
brewery. I don't know if I've ever seen a black-owned brewery before then, right? Like before they took over that spot, man. So shout out to Norm with Spangalang. Shout
Yeah.
out to Shy Rico, man. He got a
Yep.
quality over quantity. He does screen printing,
Right.
um, embroidery, anything in that realm. He does really good work too. Um, Shout out, of course, man. Ain't no way I was gonna get this question up without saying shout out to my boy B E's
That's
Q
it.
Hall, man. If you
That's
need
it, man.
anything drunk removal, man, shout out to my man
Yeah.
B E's. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Be
So
Easy, man.
Seahawks.
yeah, man.
That boy doing it.
So and then I just wanted to throw one more in here, Phoenix, but Lolo, it's Lolo Chicken.
Chicken and waffles.
Lolo's Chicken and Waffles is really dope because you don't see a lot of black owned chains, and
Mm.
it's a chain restaurant. So they got like three spots in I think they got one in Phoenix, one in Scottsdale, and one in Gilbert out here. And then they got one in Vegas too. So it's like a chain restaurant that's black owned too, man. So, shout out to Lolo's Chicken and Waffle for that. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
Nice.
As for me, I am going to go. I'm a bigger inspiration of why we're doing what we're doing. So I gotta give a shout out to Earn Your Leisure.
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Huge salute to those brothers, man. Just
Yes, sir.
to see everything that they've accomplished in the last 5 or 6 years. Probably longer than that, obviously.
Oh
But
yeah,
just
for sure.
their ascent to just the level of success that they is just amazing, and it's truly inspiring. I said it's the reason why I think we're doing what we're doing now. Expand.
Right.
So huge shout out to Earn Your Leisure. I also want to give a shout out to God is Dope. I've always
Fire.
liked their message.
Yeah.
And I also want to give a shout out to Slutty Vegan too.
Oh, great pick.
Vegan is a huge one. Just uh, the things that they've been able to accomplish, expanding. They originally started in Atlanta, but I think not even think they've expanded outside of it. They have locations in New York now and just all over. And so being able to like introduce, I think, our community to like healthier options and just like is something that's important too, like and wanting to live a healthy lifestyle. I think that's something that's important too. So
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
yeah, I
great
think those are
picks.
my three picks. Yeah.
Right. For sure. Like anything else you guys want to add before we conclude, or
Man, just shout out to Juneteenth, man. It's dope. We
Shout out to
always forget
Juneteenth.
because we just on here every week, man. It's dope that like we even get to have these conversations. Like just us just having them would be dope, man. But it's even doper that we recording them live and it's like forcing us to dig a little bit deeper and do some of the
right,
research on some of the stuff we might not even have done. You know what I mean?
right,
To be able to bring it back. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
Shout out to you brothers, man. And then and shout out to Juneteenth, bro. I think
Yeah.
it was a perfect episode for this time, man. And
right,
if three more people learned about the history of Juneteenth and they knew, then we did a little something today.
We did a little
You know what I
something.
mean? So
right,
we did a
Yeah.
little something today. And like I said, even us having the episode made me do a little more research on the holiday, man. So
Yeah.
right.
you know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah,
shout out to y'all, man.
yeah,
shout out to us, shout out to the culture, man. I think that's a big thing too, is just, being black and proud, man. I think that's important and just figuring out ways to continue to embrace it and acknowledge it. So once again, huge shout out to June. I think Denver does Juneteenth in a way that like a lot of other places don't. I don't think Denver and the people behind it, you know, we talk about Norm Harris.
Right.
Shout out to Norm again, and all his family. You know, shout out to everybody over at Spangalang. You know, who's holding it down, and just the many volunteers and people who are just wanting to show up and show out. You know, I think
Right.
that's a huge piece of it. You know, so I think those things often get overlooked, and Denver gets overlooked. You know, often, but I think Denver just does Juneteenth. It's truly special, man. So I think that's something to acknowledge too, and I've come to learn and appreciate that. You know, now having moved away from Denver and just seeing that like other people don't show up the way that Denver
They
does for
don't.
June, you know, for the culture, yeah, and for Juneteenth. You know, so I think that's a
Right.
huge piece. So you know, shout out to Juneteenth Music Festival and having me be a part of it too, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and Ramond and I, you know, like for over the years and, you know, allowing me to, you know, rock and share stage spaces, just energy with people and stuff, you know, that I probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to do in other aspects. So yeah, huge shout out to Juneteenth, the Juneteenth Music Festival, and shout out to the culture, man.
For sure.
Shout
And
out to black people.
Shout out to black people, baby.
Shout out to
Shout
black
out to
people.
black people, baby.
Hey man, y'all said everything I wanted to say. Shout out to black people and shout out to everyone who joined the live today. I
Yep.
appreciate you guys for supporting us. We're gonna be here every Monday, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. If you're in Denver, wherever you are, man, we're gonna be here weekly. So make sure you join us. You're always invited to like send an invite and get on. If you have a topic you want to talk about,
hmm
discussion, whatever, you're free, man. It's open platform. So shout out
hmm
for you guys for supporting us. Appreciate
And
it.
I
before we
got it.
hop
Hold on,
off,
oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
on Wednesday is actually Juneteenth. Take
Right.
your ass out and support black business, black whatever. Not just black, just support black, whatever it
Right.
is.
Super
You
black.
know, whether it be going to a restaurant, whether it be buying a cup of coffee, whether it be, you know, buying some art. You know, if you love black artists, go buy an album. You know,
Yeah.
like whatever it
Yeah.
is, just whatever it is that you, if you can support in any way, do it, because there's always room for more. You know, I think we could always do better at supporting each other, and just showing up. So on Wednesday, June 19th, take your ass out and support
Yeah.
black. You actually don't even have to take your ass out. You could probably do it online on the
Go.
convenience of your phone or your laptop. So you
That's
ain't
a
even gotta
fact.
go nowhere.
What are you gonna say,
No,
Ramon?
that's
Anything
fire,
else?
man.
All
I
right.
mean, I guess it kind of connects a little bit, but I was just gonna say, just because we're gonna have this on YouTube later, we're gonna have the link live for the spot gear too,
Yes,
man.
sir.
So if you need
Right.
somewhere to support black,
Yeah.
you could
Support
you can start
us,
here
man.
too. You
Yes,
know what I'm
sir.
Look.
saying?
Yes,
You
sir.
can start
Look.
here. We're gonna have the link for the hats and the shirts coming soon too, man. So
More
Yep.
more
you know what I
apparel
mean?
coming soon. We
That's it,
got
Yes,
some
man.
more
sir.
stuff in store
The spy
for
apparel
sure.
coming ASAP. You know what I mean?
That's
So
it.
go support somebody black this week, baby.
All
Come
right,
on, man.
fellas, man. I appreciate you guys.
All
Appreciate
right,
y'all,
y'all.
Peace
man.
out.
Yeah, be easy.
Talk
All
to
right,
y'all
y'all.
later today. All right. Peace out.